Space travel, constellations, planets, Todd Howard. Exploration, wonder, beauty, Bethesda. New friends, new creators, Mr. West. The man who spent £90 to play Starfield early because he thought he could make the money back on a YouTube video, only to go ghost mode for a month because he likes being off that goose. Yeah, I know we got some other people, they talked about Starfield. Mine got on there a little bit earlier than me, but okay, shush. It's my time to talk, show my terabytes of footage, get gameplay footage. I'm not a Minecraft YouTuber.
Daddy.
This video is also sponsored, by the way. I'm joking. I would never do that. Starfield was a game that came out fairly recently, and I'm going to talk about it because, yes, as I said, I broke the bank. Went into that Pixar is losing to Sony fund to buy this game to make a video on it. Yes, I bought another Bethesda game even after the last one they made. You know, the game where they charged people $200 for a canvas bag to display to everyone how much of a virgin you were. Starfield is a game which I did not have the highest hopes for going into. One of those reasons is pretty obvious, with it being made by a guy who is in the chess club. Also because people in this gaming industry like to make false promises, tell you really cool and hopeful things, and then fail to deliver. Hola! And as we've seen with Bethesda's own Fallout 76 and when Cyberpunk released and No Man's Sky and the thousands of AAA games that compile shaders so you can't get your under 2-hour refund.
You have no idea what loss is.
I expected Starfield to be no different, but you know, things did sound good in the beginning. They delayed the game, which is apparently celebrated in this industry now because when a game's delayed, it means that it might be fixed. So we fast forward past the delay and finally Starfield is ready to come out. I go all in on red on the game, buying the bank-breaking special edition just to play it 5 days early because I am such a huge Bethesda fan. Yeah, I played all 5 Skyrim games, I tried to wife Lydia, and yes, I even combined 4 hours across all Fallouts. No, I did not buy the GIMP mask. I think I spent £85 on the game, not because I love gaming or because I really want to bring you this video, but because if I made a video on it early, it'd be like an investment and I make the money back. And, you know, I'm still not reaping the benefits of this purchase. I get a DLC pack when it comes out, and a skin.
That has got to be the gayest jacket I've ever seen.
Now, if you thought we were finally ready to discuss this game and for socks to be knocked off, the gameplay was actually leaked a few days before, and that's when it became very aware that this wasn't a unique planet exploring simulator, but in fact, how it feels to walk home from a night out instead of getting an Uber. So despite promising over 1,000 playable planets, it looked like these planets were going to be about as empty as my friend's wallet. I was disappointed, I was floppy, a semi at best, but hey, we didn't thug it out on a £600 furnace for nothing. I intend to play Starfield the way God would have wanted me to, setting aside any of my skeptical, radical beliefs about the game. So it's time to press play and immerse myself in another hod-towered classic, Starfield. But first, a message from our very, very, very lovely sponsor. Look at this photograph. Wait, no, it's Raid Shadow Legends, my favorite RPG game. Forget that, my favorite game of all time. Why, you might ask? Amazing visuals, gameplay that is incredibly rewarding, and so much free content, making them the most generous company of all time. Come here. Give me a kiss. For your travels, young adventurer, let me tell you a story about 2 of these amazing Hydra heads, my favorite clan boss. The head of Mischief isn't the head you want to be messing around with. He'd be rather mischievous, stealing all your buffs, and then get this, give them to all the other heads in the battle. This battle is not for the faintest of hearts. The head of Wrath, the angriest of the heads. I live in Birmingham. It gets even more powerful the more times you hit it. It can triple its attack, dealing even more damage. Make sure you're prepared for this one, or you might just become the head's next victim. This is Halloween. No, it's Raid Shadow Legends. October is the scariest time of the month, and Raid and I are here to bring treats along with some tricks. Download Raid Shadow Legends using the link below and go over to raidyard.plarium.com from October 15th to November the 10th. Go put in your player ID and get into that haunted graveyard. Start digging with your diamond shovel and you'll be able to win some amazing prizes, from a Halloween champion to Amazon gift cards worth a total of 20 grand. If you already have Raid, then you can still head on over there and you'll find a little promo code that you can use to earn something for your troubles. And if that wasn't enough free stuff, we have the Monkey King, Som Wukong, and it couldn't be any easier to get. Just log in on 7 different days from now until October 23rd and you will have the Monkey King. But wait, there's more. I'll be shocked if you still haven't started playing Raid yet, and on the off chance you haven't, then you can use my link in the description or scan my QR code to get even more stuff. The epic champions such as Drizzy Drake, along with loads of other amazing things such as XP booster, energy refills, and a skill tome, totaling to $30 worth of free content. Make sure when you're done battling these foes to come and find me under the name Big Chungus 360 No Scope so you can come join my exclusive clan. You can even play Raid Shadow Legends in the bathtub, just like me. So what are you waiting for? Scan the QR code, click the link, and get raiding with me. It's Raid Shadow Legends. Thank you, Raid. Thank you. I spawn in, looking for that blue rock in the cave, when I am suddenly blinded by the light.
The weekend.
Forcing me to create my character. How foolish of you, Bethesda. Teach a man to fish, and he will fish. But give a man a fish, and he'll create one of the most iconic characters in gaming history. I spent countless hours crafting the perfect one-to-one replica of the man who made Graduation, and has never ever said anything controversial about the people with the money. Which era do I choose? There's so many. But alas, I settled on the perfect model. The YNW Melly mixed personalities version. Perfect, I said, as God leaned back into his gaming chair, knowing that my Starfield journey was ready to commence. There were traits in the beginning. I chose to have the Meat Rider companion. That was interesting.
He's a fag.
He followed me around in the game after meeting him in a city where the frames dropped harder than an 11-year-old me playing 420 Blaze at no scope. And from then on, he annoyed me so much that I tried to put a bullet in his head. And in response, he put his girlfriend in the boot of his car and drove off a bridge. And then Eminem made a song about it. I also chose one of the most desirable traits in the video game world. The Loner Sigma, We Go Jim, Ziz, what does that say? Winter Arc trait. Meaning that I would gain additional benefits by being alone. And with that, the journey of the broken Sigma could commence. So now I can finally talk about why I'd rather watch paint dry and play this game. Starfield's bugs aren't as bad as other Bethesda games have been. But it's still bad. And I know some of you are watching there with your shirts off, sweaty boob, hugging a slice of pizza, about to tell me that they didn't experience these bugs, but I did, so shut up. This is my review. Raid paid me to get off my ass, so if you don't like it, you know where the door is. I would get moments in my game where there would just be no sound at all, or it was just cutting in and out, and it wasn't particularly very nice. When I wasn't met by that, I was hammered with some of the worst FPS drops in gaming history. And I've played Jedi Fallen Survivor, you know, whatever it's called. I waited months for that to be fixed. But no, I was not waiting for Starfield because I spent lots of money on the game. And before you comment me with Get Good PC, I have Nvidia with 42 terashits and a CPU. So shut up. Look how pretty it is. And yet this game was still not silky smooth. Yes, it's privileged to complain about frames on Starfield whilst console players are drowning at the bottom of the pool. But it still ain't right when I spent a rack on this PC that struggles to load in half of this empty-ass planet. At least I didn't get the console experience, though. I'm not playing 30 FPS. I could play Black Ops 2 at 60 in 2012, so no, none of that. The forbidden New Atlantis is normally a first-round pick because you ain't getting no 60 in this eyesore of a hub world that is filled with as much life as Queen Elizabeth's coffin. This is meant to be the night city of Starfield, and yeah, it fucking sucks. I felt like I was wasting my time wandering around, only using it to get to the missions I needed to get to, especially since the ship modification stuff was right where I landed, pretty much rendering the rest of the area useless to me. Unless you went to TikTok and memorized a specific method that allows you to get every item in the game off the vendors, but I would never do that. I know that even in the year 2330, the media would still be after Mr. West. My apologies also, although New Atlantis is the big attraction, this is actually the Night City equivalent. Guess what it's called? Neon City. Yeah, they actually copied the homework 1-to-1. I like Neon City, however, because I can watch the dancer there all day. But when I'm not doing that, I'm either stuttering in Aquila City, or I'm strafing side to side in some of the clunkiest combat I've ever played. And I'll give RPGs the benefit of the doubt because usually they're not the cleanest when it comes to the actual, gameplay mechanic. But come on, we're in 2023. The game was big and it was hyped, and yet the gameplay is really janky. And what is this in the movement? I'm in third-person mode, and it's a completely different mechanic than in first-person mode. If I punch a person in first person, I don't move into the attack, but in third person I do. It's alright because I did spend most of my time in first person, unless I wanted to see my beautiful Mr. West, which was actually pointless most of the time because I literally never found a reason to take off any of my gear because it served no purpose not to, unless I wanted to grab a funny screenshot or something. So actually it turned out that crafting this amazing character was pretty much pointless, but at least the cute little robot calls me Mr. West.
Captain West.
But bugs are one thing though. Some of my favorite games have very cool glitches that give the game a sense of personality. I played the Skyrims. I did the tweaking horse glitch. But if your game ain't fun and immersive, then you're getting a -5 on my IGN review. Now, I don't read a lot, but when I do, it is Steam reviews. And that's because I can steal them for the basis of my own reviews. And what I saw was this one user explain how space is merely the backdrop for this game. And I can't lie, he is right. Starfield is meant to be about the spaces, the exploration, the planets, the space suit, the fake moon landing, and why my lovely town is now a wasteland when I try to land there. But when you're actually playing the game, that just feels like a fucking green screen behind the actual game. Yeah, the story is related to space, and the enemies are in little space factions and suits, but none of that feels real. And in fact, it's just the opposite. It makes me want to put toothpicks in my eyes to hold them open like a cartoon character. The main enemy in this game isn't the Starborn or the Matrix, but the ability to get past the "it gets good after 12 hours" allegation. And the reason I found it so boring is because this isn't actually a game about exploration, because each planet is a copy and paste job of all the other planets, with the exception of a few important areas for missions or vendors. Starfield was impossible to advertise correctly. There, fix your game. There you go, that's how you advertise the game. I thought going into this game that I'd arrive at each planet of my choosing with a plethora of things to do, but literally on every occasion outside the main story, there was nothing there. I wanted to go to Earth and see what it looked like, and yet nothing was there. Literally not an ounce of anything to do. Yeah, I know it might not be lore related, but come on, have the Statue of Liberty underground or something. Just some purpose of going back to the motherland and going, oh my god, it's the local Chippy. At least Stoke hasn't changed a bit, but it's not likely that anyone would have wanted to go there anyway. This was pretty much the same for any other planet I went on, and if it wasn't completely empty, it was the same copy and pasted outpost with nothing to do for the next 600 miles. And those are the 600 miles that you have to traverse on foot with no other modes of transport. Yeah, you've got your ship and all, but it would be really pointless if you could just fly across the planet like the other game did. Even Death Stranding gives you a bike at some point. Could we have at least got a fucking like a camel or something? But there is 1300 planets, then maybe I should spend my time checking the other 1000 I didn't see. I would have rather had like 30 planets with packed stuff to do rather than some buzzword for an IGN employee to orgasm over, because even with the planets I did visit and had some relevance to play through, I could barely even track what galaxy and solar system it was in because there was so much filler. The planets did serve a purpose though, not to me of course, but for anyone that felt the need to gather materials to craft items in their playthrough. I did not feel the need to do that. I was going to bother, but after looking around my spacesuit, multiple types of weapons for each ammunition, because ammunition was so sparse in the game, I literally had no room to have an unobtainium like Kevin the Cube in my inventory. And that's just another sin for Bethesda. So much filler and wasted content. I never felt the need to pick up any of this stuff because it was just simply too heavy, and I'd rather pick up the stuff I needed by looting people. Let me have like a Tonka that I can put it all in the back of, please. But there is side content in this game. There's these cute little factions. I picked the Cowboys. I should not have picked the Cowboys because my good friends picked the Pirates and I actually had some enjoyment. I went with the Freestar Collective and had one of the most boring experiences ever. And mind you, I only decided to do the side mission because my friends told me, yeah, you're meant to do the side content. It's way more fun than the main story. No, it was not. I literally gave up with it. And I could say I don't want to talk to you about this side mission because I don't want to spoil it for you. But no, it's just generally rolled off my head. There was this company and some farm, and I went here, spoke to this guy, went here. Then I looked myself in the mirror with big black dark rings under my eyes thinking, I'd rather play the main story than do this shit anymore. I would rather genuinely ignore all this stuff and play the main story, which honestly, the rivalry and boringness is like Ronaldo and Messi. The side content in Starfield, the main story, is like the Ronaldo and Messi of falling asleep. The side missions that forced me to go from planet to planet, space station to space station, didn't help when I was met by cutscenes breaking up the immersion every 30 seconds. Cutscene to get into space, cutscene to hyperdrive to another system, cutscene to land on a planet, and I cut deep into my arm every time I have to do this monotonous ritual. And God forbid you didn't download the game on a hard drive, because I genuinely think it would have been so over. This is not a minor convenience, it's so over. This is I'm uninstalling the game and going back to watching the GTA 5 loading screen, it's over. No Man's Sky somehow managed to figure it out, and I think that's way cooler, seamlessly traveling between planets. And you can argue that, oh, Starfield's a bigger game, it would take too much power. But I'm sorry, this game didn't even look that good to me. Look at the models, the characters, there's no life or presence there. We've landed, and there are no life forms here. I feel like I'm watching Markiplier on Talking Eevee. I've already established why Starfield is very bad, but there is a story that could redeem itself, and I am contracted to talk about it. The main reason I've only just gotten onto the story is because with a game like Starfield, the main focus should be your exploration, your journey, as you unravel the mysteries of the universe. But when the world is so bland and you're dealt with an absolute stinker by your side mission, what else do you turn to but the constellations that provide you with multiple fetch quests, just like my Freestar Collection side missions did. You're mining, you talk about the artifact, and now you're the main character, bonding with a guy named Barrett, who also experienced the artifact before you. Mr. West talks to Barrett about seeing the vision, but the vision isn't anything important, like United finally winning the Premier League. It's the vision of the next 20 hours you will spend searching for more artifacts over and over and over and over and over. You meet a group called the Constellation, people enlightened by the discovery of these artifacts. You're forced again to search for the rest of the artifacts to uncover the meaning of the universe. Some become companions, some meet their fate, but what is certain is that it'll be the most tedious Mickey Mouse storyline in gaming. The characters themselves all had their bright moments. I thought Sam Coe was really cool, and I liked seeing his relationship with his dad on Aquila City, but due to my own decisions, Sam was killed when I decided to go save Vlad on a spaceship, and as a result, Sam's daughter said slurs to me, so I put a bullet in her head. To explain why my beloved cowboy died, we gotta run it back. We encounter the Starborn, who wants the artifacts for themselves, showcasing that they are way more knowledgeable about them than the rest of the constellation. They attack the hub of the constellation, the Lodge, along with the Eye, and I am the lucky person with the decision of which group of people to save. At this point in the game, I thought, finally, I've broken the barrier. It's going to be fun. Only to find out that I chose the most boring outcome and left me with the character I liked the most being killed. And from then on, the game is a cat and mouse chase for the artifacts. Going here, get artifact. Go here, negotiate for artifact. Wait, what is this mission? I can go here and get superpowers? Oh, so it's like Skyrim, but instead of climbing a cool mountain, I have to literally jump through hoops to get the power. Yes, like actually jump through hoops. I forgot that I even had these abilities for a lot of the game, and I really only ever used one right towards the end, and that was the ability to have 2 Kanye Wests. Did you know that this superpower gimmick is also repeatable multiple times for every one there is? Like, the same. We go here, we go through rings. Yeah, I know you might have assumed, but I just want to be clear on that. There were highlights in the playthrough though. The mission where you're traversing through the multiverse, where they just took the concept of upside down from Stranger Things, reminded me of the gimmick in Ratchet & Clank, but yeah, like most things in the game, it's immediately ruined by the Rohypnol poured into my hot chocolate, forcing me again to fall asleep. Cool concept, but the enemies in this bit are fucking boring. Little crabs. Oh no, get me out of there, no. The Starborn themselves were the same enemy every time, with a really shit and drawn out shootout because it is an RPG. It was not a Wild Western shootout or a tense gunfight, but spraying every bullet in my inventory, changing weapon, and then doing the same thing over and over again every time I wanted an artifact. But at least I got to find out what we really do with this artifact. No, we do not shove it up our asses, despite them being way more enjoyable than the actual use. There are 2 Starborns, the Hunter and the Emissary. The Emissary wants the artifacts in order to be in control and judge who is worthy of its power, whilst the Hunter believes that anyone who obtains them deserves to do what they want with them. They give you a decision on whether you want to side with one of them or take your own path. Now, I can't lie, I didn't just play 20 hours of this fucking game to give up and let them have my artifacts. So after waking my ass up because it's time to go beast mode, I was met with the last level of the game that repeated the same fucking process. But look what I can do with the artifacts once they're all lined up. I can restart the game.
It's like now you're Starborn.
I'm a motherfucking star boy. That's what it all means. It's reincarnation. This is really clever, Bethesda. So I can never truly finish the game. I love this. In return though, I get armor and a ship, so I think I'll restart the game and play it again. Like I mentioned earlier, there are multiple factions in the game, so it'd be logical to think, oh, with New Game Plus, I can go back and join the factions I didn't choose. But in fact, me doing the quest for the Freestar Collective does not impact my ability to join the Crimson Fleet, despite me literally killing them in missions. And it is like this throughout the entire game, where killing certain people has 0 consequences. There is no point in doing New Game Plus, when you can do everything in the game before that point. Sure, you can go do the other ending, which leads you to the exact same path of New Game Plus anyway, but even that is irrelevant because you can just save your game before that decision and play them out. Starfield is a game that relies solely on your imagination. The illusion of choice is the biggest factor in the game. Nothing matters, it never did, and if it ever did, you can always reset your game because the whole premise of the game is being reincarnated and rotting more hours doing the same thing over and over again until you eventually buy a new Bethesda game because that is the state of AAA gaming at the moment. If you want some words of advice, my friend said go play Cyberpunk's new DLC, but for the men amongst us, Spider-Man 2 is probably out when I release this, so go play that like a good little gamer, and subscribe to my channel. I make videos. Subscribe to my channel. I make videos. Subscribe to my channel.
Waking up on your sofa when I park my Range Rover, slightly scratch your Corolla. Okay, I smash your Corolla.